got delays, we've got cancels, and we've got a lot of fucking games coming out next year in 2023. This is the Dual Screens Crossplay Podcast. Hello, my name is Taylar Allen, and I am joined this week by Steven Fontana, the gamer boy himself. Steve, how are you?
The boys are back together. The band is back together. Crossplay, New World, what the Faction Wars. Here we go.
Yeah,
we're doing a show.
Faction Wars.
Let's go.
Episode 119.
119. What's up, buddy? How are you?
I'm doing good, man. It's been a couple weeks. I was on vacation. My family was sick. Kids throwing up everywhere.
That sucks.
But we're back with a vengeance.
Oh, it's dark.
Chilling.
We're getting dark.
Yeah.
Kids being sick is the most it's just stress. Like there's no other word for it than it's stress. It's like you just got to get through it, you know?
Yeah.
It's like a really bad shift at the restaurant where the dish pit is broken, your grill guy didn't show up, and nobody prepped the salad dressings. And you're just going in there like, what are we doing? All right, let's get through the night and worry about it tomorrow.
Figure it out.
Yeah. Sorry for any service workers that just got a little PTSD from that. Because I'm with you.
The grill guy.
Yeah.
Where is he?
You haven't. I am a proponent that every person should do at least 6 months in the service industry. Instead of like military requirements, we should require that. Because until you have the
service is just like working at an Olive Garden.
Yes, absolutely. You're working at something service related, because you don't know stress. Well, unless you're in the military and have been in war, you don't know stress like waking up in the middle of the night saying, "Did I bring the ketchup to table 32?" Like you're just like, oh, they wanted ketchup. Oh, fuck.
That or like retail, but not like nice retail, like shitty retail.
Yeah, like really bad
during
retail.
the holidays.
Yeah, like Old Navy retail.
Yes, Old Navy retail in the middle of Black Friday.
Yeah, no, we don't want that. We don't want that. Anyway, hey.
Hello. I'm so excited to do this podcast with you, Steve. But before we do the podcast,
yes,
a couple things that we want to touch on. First and foremost, did you know we have a show all about indie games? Steve,
I did.
Tell them about the indie game show.
Yes, we have a brand new show that is a couple of months in the can right now. We have Indies Nuts Podcast, because we are nuts about indies. We are indies. That's what we are here at Dual Screens. And we are now doing a fully dedicated news, previews, and reviews podcast all about indie gaming. So check that out. It records on twitch.tv/dualscreenstreams, just like Crossplay does, each and every week. It's either Wednesday or Thursdays, depending on scheduling. We do most of the time Wednesdays. This week is on Thursday. And it posts on your favorite podcast service of choice, including our home, Podbean. Of course, it will post as well on youtube.com/dualscreens.tv, and it's been doing really well. We've been getting very good feedback from our core listeners. We just got to figure out how to branch it out a little bit. So if you are listening to this and you don't listen to that, give us a try. You'll get the deep dive.
It's a really good show. It's a fantastic show. It's actually shown me a lot of indies that I've actually fallen in love with. So highly recommend. If you like small independent games, give it a listen. We also have our flagship show, the one that started it all. Oh my God, did I just have a stroke?
You just had a mini stroke. I caught it.
The Dual
It's on camera.
Podcast.
Yes, the Dual Screens Podcast is just going super strong right now. We have so many episodes already recorded that I don't even know what we're putting up this week. I do know, but I forgot because I haven't edited it yet. But we're going strong. We've had a really good showing out for our last few episodes. Mirror Forge, I think, is the one going up this week. I believe that's the one. Really cool horror game that has a demo right now on Steam if you want to check it out. It was a really good episode, but Mirror Forge was either a recent one or going up this week. Honestly, it's been a fever dream.
Mirror Forge went up 2 days ago.
Oh, okay, good.
Last week we had Eternal Exodus, which is just one of the most heartwarming interviews I think we've ever done. It's absolutely awesome. Hearing Josh's story was incredible. One of my favorite episodes that I feel like is kind of underappreciated right now. So definitely check those out. We've also had some awesome interviews with some of my favorite games this year, including the community manager of V Rising, the hot new vampire survival game on the block, the lead designer of Peglin, one of the most interesting roguelike pachinko games you'll ever play, and many, many more. So definitely go check that out up on YouTube as well as the podcast feed. So
Indeed.
if you're interested in hearing stories from incredible indie developers and other members of the games industry, you can head over there.
Some of them are literal mom and pops. Like if you want like brick and mortar mom and pops, like husband and wife and all that fun stuff. Like you'll be surprised what the people that make your games and the stories and how they came about. It's really cool. So.
Yeah. Finally, before we get into our adventures in gaming, if you want to support this show and all of the other shows that we just told you about, you can head over to patreon.com/duel_screens or just dual screens.
Just dual screens.
DUEL screens. Yeah.
Yep. Just
DUEL, like a dual screens. Over there, you get perks like access to our patron exclusive Discord. We have a lot of awesome chats. We hang out in voice calls and share video while we're playing games and just, do shenaniganry.
It's like a super exclusive Discord where we can play games together, or it's like sometimes we do like private streams in there and kind of just hang out.
Yeah, I usually will hang out in there while I'm prepping D&D stuff. If we're playing games with friends, we'll usually hang out in there. It's a good time. So patreon.com/dual screens. For just $1, you can get access to that. For just a little bit more, you get access to our pre-show where we talked about baseball for 15 minutes today. Sometimes we talk about what we had for dinner or what our poops look like. So and if you're interested in that content, the ocean.
Yeah, talk about that sometimes.
Sometimes I talk about my son's anxiety. I don't know. It's a smorgasbord. Definitely check that out. We'll also be having some cool exclusive like seasonal shows that'll show up there, including a fun little show with our Patreon producer Colton the Apprentice Nestler.
Yes, indeed.
That will be announced very soon. Also, we want to give a nice little shout out to our other Patreon producer, FNH Paul.
Who's actually a part of one of our Patreon exclusive contents, Dual Screens and Dragons.
Yeah.
So there you go.
Full circle. I think that's the thing. I'm a little bit out of it this week. It didn't flow super well, but we're just gonna
listen. We're having a good time. You know what I mean? Yeah. This is what Dual Screens is all about. Bunch of friends chatting about games and stuff.
Yes, exactly. Steven?
Yeah.
It is time for the adventures in gaming.
Gaming. Yeah.
Tell me what you've been playing, Steve.
I booted up, and it's not on my list, but I want to say it because I actually booted it up today. I booted up Splitgate on my Steam Deck.
Oh, really?
I was curious, because that seems like the perfect like Steam Deck, like let me just play a round or two like game.
Sure.
I was worried, big worried, because it looked like absolute hot garbage. Like it looked like a PS Vita game.
Jesus.
Then I realized that in the settings, because it is optimized for the Steam Deck.
Oh,
I went into the settings and the resolution scaling was at 50%.
Oh, it just looked like muddy doo-doo.
Yeah, so I bumped it up to 100, and it looked indistinguishable from the real thing. Takes some getting used to.
Performed pretty well.
Yeah, performed great.
Awesome.
Took some getting used to with the sticks are very loose, like they're not they're just it's like
sticks.
Yeah, it's not something I would play a competitive shooter on, but like I had my kills, I did my a couple of matches. It was fun. It works. My main concern was like, how comfortable is this going to be? Is this going to be like the game, the Sega Nomad, where I'm not going to really want to play it, or is it going to be comfortable enough where I could play it for long gaming sessions? And I think it falls somewhere in the middle. I can't see myself sitting there playing it forever, but I could see myself, like I said, picking up, doing a mission of this, doing a mission of that, maybe playing an indie game for an hour or two.
Yeah, it's a novel that you can do it.
Yeah, and that's cool. I still want to explore some other things with it, like having it docked and using it as a like basically like a mini a PC mini. I've heard it can work, so I'm going to do some research on that. See how I can do that, because that would free up for games like that. That would free up some CPU usage if I was to just capture that image as opposed to using the GPU for that and CPU for that. So that would be cool. I've also been playing a bit of Guardians of the Galaxy. It came out last year, I think it was the last year. 2 years. I don't know. I missed it, and it's a PS Plus, and it was on Game Pass as well, but now it's on the PS Plus. I believe it's on Essential, but I'm not. I think it is. I think it's part of the Essential package.
It was last year, by the way.
Last year. Yeah, I think it was like December or November or something.
That's September, but yeah.
Yeah.
End of the yearish.
End of the yearish, yeah. I've been waiting to play it. I'm really enjoying it. I think the writing is so good. I haven't gotten into any like, whoa, crap, story twists yet, but like the character bonding and dialogue and how you can be, I don't know if you've played it, but like the Peter Quill that you're playing, you can make him make leadership decisions, and it's really cool the way it does it, because like you could be supportive, or you could be sarcastic in some moments. You could side with two characters over the other two, and the story kind of plays out slightly differently depending on what you do, which is really cool. I really like it. The combat's not that great, but it's not terrible. It plays more like it almost plays more like an Xbox, an X-Men Legends than it does like an Uncharted. Like I was expecting more of like that third person, just action like Spider-Man, but it's more squad based. You're doing more, trying to do combos,
people doing their powers.
Yeah. Like figuring out things like that. But it's fun. I mean, if you didn't play it for whatever reason, didn't have the cash, it's free on I think both Xbox and PlayStation right now if you have those subscriptions. So there's really no reason not to.
It's also very pretty. It looks great on a PS5.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
Very, very
it's really, really beautiful. The music is great. Like all the licensed music is so phenomenal. Like it has the quality and polish of something you would expect from like a Naughty Dog or Crystal Dynamics or as far as like Lara Croft goes. But it has like an arcadey style action that is fun. Can be deep. I see the different things you can unlock with Quill, and so I look forward to seeing how it varies. And finally, I dove into Stray, which is it's a game that I feel like people weren't really prepared for emotionally.
Yeah.
But the game is absolutely gorgeous. If you don't know what it is, you are a stray cat in a dystopian future where robots basically took place of humans, but they kind of interact with you like humans. Like they talk to you like you're a person, but you're a cat. It's very weird. But if there was ever a game that shows you how a cat acts, like this game is like perfect. It was almost like it was made for TikTok. This game, like they made a game specifically so that you could record parts of it and put it on TikTok.
Yeah. I saw a screenshot on Twitter the other day. I have not touched this game at all. I don't know anything about it. But one thing that I thought was very cute and endearing was that the robots eat ramen, and it's just like a bowl of broth with like
sticks
in it,
of ram,
like little ram sticks. I thought that was hilarious.
Yeah, so, it's
10 out of 10 game of the year.
It's tongue in cheek. It's hauntingly. It's got a depressing tone to it, but if you look at the absurdity of it, if you juxtapose like what you're doing and how they're interacting with you, the world almost seems beautiful as opposed to depressing. Like it's almost like it's got a weird optimism to it.
Sure.
Because these robots they're not miserable. Like they're existing in this weird world, and you're just this cat. Like, and the moment to moment gameplay is more. It's about like cat parkour and puzzle solving and kind of doing these little missions for the robots and whatnot. But and then there's these like little glob creatures that are trying to kill the cat. So
Yeah.
if you're sensitive to a cat being murdered, your cat is going to die, and it's going to die a lot, and it's going to be sad. But the cat comes back to life because it's a video game, and as long as you can remember that when you're playing, like the first few times, it was like, oh, I don't want to watch this cat die.
God.
Like, remember when Lara Croft was dying in like just the worst ways in the reboot?
Spears directly.
Just like horrible.
Face.
It became like uncomfortable, and they were like, all right, we'll tone it down for the second one. Like,
Yeah.
we're almost at that point where it's like, can we not have this cat die like this, please?
Yeah.
Like every 5 minutes, because I'm bad at games. I have to watch this poor little Tabby or Tabby die over and over again. No, thank you. But
it's just conditioning you to be better at the game, Steve.
Yeah, that's what it's doing. It's conditioning me to go to therapy. It's not that long too, so if you have a couple of evenings, you could get through it. I'm not finished with it. I barely scratched the surface, but I knew that I was coming on here and I wanted to talk about it, so I dove in a little bit.
In. Yeah. I love how you describe the world as like kind of optimistic but juxtaposed to this like kind of overly depressed setting. And I feel like their like weather effects play to that so well.
And the
because
lighting.
It's just like this neon city that's always kind of rainy and like overcast and stuff, but it has kind of like this beautiful aspect to it with like the neon glowing off the rain and stuff. Like, I think that's really cool. I'll definitely have to check it out.
It's like with the feeling that I got from it, from just being in that world, is like, so in 2003, we had a huge East Coast blackout. Like, I don't know if you remember that, but it was a huge blackout. Like the whole Northeast.
Third grade, so
yeah, like the whole I was in high school, and the whole like northeast of the country, from like Maine all the way down to like Virginia, just lost power. And it was, and I remember going outside and watching everybody walking in the street and just being like, how you been and what's going on? What can I get for you? Do you need water? Like, what can I do? They're like, oh, do you want me to go pick up your daughter? Like, she's stuck in the city. Like, it was just like everybody was kind of like existing in this world and just figuring it out. And that's kind of like the feeling I got playing Stray, where I'm like, oh, they're just figuring out how to live in this world. And I'm just kind of like, I'm literally like a cat on the wall, like just kind of being an audience to this. And it's kind of cool. But also nothing is quite right, because, you know, it's a dystopia. The humans are gone.
Sure.
So, yeah. All right.
I've been playing some games.
I know.
So I've been talking since this game came out about buying it, sitting down for a weekend and playing it with my wife. I finally got around to The Quarry.
Yay.
It was on sale on, I think, everything last week, 2 weeks ago, something like that. So I picked it up. It was like $40. And have you played any of the other like dark picture anthology stuff that they put out?
I played Until Dawn. That was the only one of their games that I really played.
So I played like Man of Medan, and there was another one that they put out semi-recently. I can't remember the name of it.
The one
they were all okay.
Like, not The Village. It was called something like that. It was like...
Yeah. Anyway, they were okay, right? They're similar-ish to Until Dawn. The Quarry is Until Dawn. Like, it is. It feels like a sequel to Until Dawn. It's awesome. So campy, so just like B-tier slasher in the best way possible. And the gameplay is really fun. The story's super engaging. The characters are all not likable, but relatable. Like,
Yeah.
I don't like every single one of them, but they seem like real people that like I want to hate because they're an actual person and not just because someone wrote them to be hateable.
Right.
Like, they're very nuanced and stuff. It's awesome. Absolutely 10 out of 10 writing. So my wife, we sat down and played through basically an entire weekend. Game is kind of long. I think it took us like 10 hours or something to get
Yeah.
through it.
Yeah.
So it's pretty sizable. And then after you beat the game, you can go back and do chapter select and change any of your decisions to see how it like changes the outcome.
Yeah.
And you also get a couple of like death rewind tokens. So if you like accidentally killed off a character, which I did in our first playthrough,
Of course.
and you want to like try and change it, you can go back to the chapter they die, replay it, and you know you get retries and stuff. But it's very, very good. I cannot say enough good things about the core.
It's one of those games that's like on my list of I know I'll like it. I loved Until Dawn. Until Dawn, my wife went away. I don't I think she took our son with her. And I just remember just putting the chair directly in front of the TV and just playing it. And I played it Friday, Saturday, and I finished it Sunday. But the thing about those games for me is whatever I do is canon to me. And I don't want to know what else happened. I don't know what else could have happened. I like to think that whatever I did that's it. That's what happened.
Yeah, that's how the game goes.
Yeah, that's just how, like, this is how, oh, this guy died. Oh, what do you mean he can't? Like, I don't. Plus, it's overwhelming. Seeing the butterfly effect of everything in Until Dawn, where you're like, oh my God, there's so much I didn't see. Like, it overwhelms me, and I don't want to do it. And I just want to say, Missed Enough, Little Hope. That was the other one that from the anthology. I thought that one did pretty well. That one kind of.
It just didn't feel quite the same. Like they have a little bit more serious tone and stuff. Whereas like Until Dawn and The Quarry, equally as campy, like teen slasher.
I think I know what it is. I think Until Dawn and The Quarry try to scare you, whereas the other ones are trying to be scary.
Yeah.
And I think like they get it.
More creepy.
Yeah, they're like these games get it. Like they're just trying to scare you. They're trying to jump scare you. They're trying to get you to go ah. Whereas the other ones are like, this is horror done the right way. We're gonna be all in your brain and stuff and make you question everything you do. And you're like, yeah, but it's coming across as a little try hard.
Yeah, totally.
And art housey, but I digress. What else you been playing?
Yeah, a couple other things real quick. I picked up a game called Nova Drift because I love 20 Minutes Till Dawn and just want more of those like wave-based survival games. And this one, you're a little spaceship and you're shooting other spaceships and asteroids and stuff like that. And it's pretty cool. It's like $5. That's one thing I love about this genre is they just decided that everything is like $3. So I'm a big fan of that. But yeah, Nova Drift on Steam. Very good game. Very beautiful. A lot of like light effects and stuff. So big fan of that. But the big thing that I've been playing, Steve, that I've been putting so much time into is maybe one of the most underrated games I have ever played in my life. It is called Solasta, Crown of the Magister. And this game is just, it's D&D. It's it. They have gotten permission from Wizards of the Coast to use the 5.1 SRD rule set. So a lot of very familiar spells, classes, races, stuff like that. But it's all set in their own like homebrew setting. They have homebrew classes and stuff like that as well. But it plays so perfectly like D&D, it's not even funny. This game came out last year after a successful Kickstarter, and they have continued to support the game with a lot of really awesome DLC, adding extra classes, adding a full second campaign that you can play. Everything about the game from a technical perspective is like B tier at best.
Yeah,
like the writing is super cheesy. the graphics aren't that great. The animations are fine. The like lighting effects and stuff are fine. The like, actual layout of some of the places are a little less open than I want it to be. And your decisions don't have as much of an impact as I'd like them to have. But this is a team who was founded in 2018. This is literally the very first game they've ever made together. And it's just so much fun. Like, I just can't stop thinking about it. Me and Mike have played this game every single night for the last, like, week and a half. And it's on Game Pass.
Yep.
Like, it's awesome. It's so, so good. And, like, so endearing and cheesy and dumb and fun. Like, I cannot say enough good things about it. If you like tactical CRPGs, or if you like D&D and you have Game Pass, or you want to pick it up on Steam, it is definitely worth your money.
Yeah, I downloaded it on Game Pass after watching you and Mike play for a little bit. It looks like playing it together is part of the fun, so
yeah,
I'll figure out how that's gonna work, because I would like to play with you guys, but I don't like. I think you would have to start over. Is it worth it for you to start over? Like, I don't, so we'll see. Will you be over it by the time, we can get into play? But it definitely looks like it's going to scratch the itch that Baldur's Gate 3 has slowly been scratching.
Yeah. And the nice thing is, too, if the host of the multiplayer session owns the DLC, then everyone in the lobby gains access to it. So I bought the DLC. If you guys want to jump on and we can start a new campaign of the like DLC stuff, so it's all new for us, we'll then have access to like the druid and the barbarian classes and stuff too. Like, it's super fun. Super fun. You guys don't all have to buy the stuff to be able to get access to it. So
cool.
Yeah. I would love to just have like a weekly D&D sesh separate from our weekly D&D sesh. Yeah, it's a really good time.
Are we about to be called Dungeons and Dual Screens? Like, is that going to be the new website?
I mean,
I think
I'm into it. All right, Steve.
Yes.
It is time for the release roundup. Kia!
Release roundup.
Things that have come out in the last week. As Dusk Falls came out on Xbox consoles and PC on the 19th. Endling Extinction is Forever, PS4, Xbox One, Switch, and PC on the 19th. Fallen Angel came out for the Switch on the 19th. Forza Horizon 5, Hot Wheels, Xbox, PC on the 19th. Stray, PlayStation 4, PlayStation 5, and PC on the 19th. Redout 2 came out on the Switch on the 20th. Bright Memory Infinite came out on
Definitely
PS5, Xbox Series, 100%. Switch on July 21st. Koromon came out on Switch July 21st.
Former guest of the show.
Live Alive, July 22nd, came out on Switch. And Story of Seasons, Pioneers of Olive Town came out on PS4 only today, July 26th.
Yeah, that was on PC for a bit, I believe.
Interesting that they only ported it to PS4? Or is that late? I don't know.
According to chat, Bright Memory Infinite is a first-person shooter, but that's got anime written all over it. That Bright Memory Infinite, and it's Live a Live. Live a Live.
I'm pretty sure it's Live Alive.
Live a Live.
I don't think it's Live a Live. I think you're trying to fuck with me.
Live a Live. No, it's Live a Live.
No, it's definitely Live Alive.
I don't think so.
Someone look it up.
I don't think so.
All right.
Pizza bet.
Let's talk.
Pizza bet. Let's do it. Pizza bet. Live a Live.
Okay.
I know things.
Okay. We can pizza bet it.
All
Andy, when I talked about this announcement, said Live Alive.
Well, he's an idiot. You can't go by him.
I mean, but you're not an idiot.
Because what he does is he thinks something should be the way it is, and when it's found not to be that way, he says, "Well, that's stupid. It should be this way." And then he forever will continue to call it that way because he thinks the people who created it are the stupid ones. That's
fair.
an
though.
Andyism.
I mean, if
that
they're
you'll learn.
stupid, then
It's like GIF
but
and GIF. Like, come on. Like, don't call it a
yeah.
GIF. Please stop calling it a GIF. I know that the creators like it's a GIF. No, it's not. You idiot.
No, it sounds like you're doing the Andy thing right now.
No,
Though.
that's it. But that's how words work. At least live and live are spelled and look exactly the same. So I get it.
Sure.
You know.
Sure. All right, let's get into the dual screens report. We've got a lot of delays, cancellations,
A lot of
and
little
other
stuff.
stupid things.
Little stuff
Yeah.
to talk about. Yeah.
Little sprinkles here before we get to our topic of the show.
Indeed.
Let's start with the two delay, postpone newses.
Sure.
First, this just came out today. The Knights of the Old Republic remake, that is being postponed indefinitely.
That's not a good word.
No, Jason Schreier had the write up on this. Apparently, the project is in a bad place.
Yeah, I read the article because I wanted information, and basically they were creating a workable vertical slice and spending the entire year doing that, and it still was not up to par, and they were not making the actual game, and where they were told that their deadline was end of 2022, realistically they were looking at 2025. Like that's what they were internally, like the team actually making it, not the people telling them to make it, which was Embracer Group is the owner, I guess the owner of that studio,
the publisher.
Yeah, they were like, no, this is 3 years out at least. So indefinitely is not a good word when it comes to cancellations, postponements, or whatever. It basically means this game is done. It's never going to come out. But
yeah,
hopefully that it's just needs better leadership and focus, and it can be done. But I would not hold my breath for this remake.
Yeah. After looking into it a little bit, like, I don't think it's very surprising that this team kind of struggled with this. Like, the biggest things that they've done to date are mobile and Switch ports of old Star Wars games.
Yeah.
Star Wars Republic Commando, Star Wars Racers,
Mm-hmm.
Knights of the Old Republic 1 and 2, Force Unleashed. Like, rebuilding this game from the ground up is a very different job than porting Knights of the Old Republic from original Xbox to an app. You know? Like,
yeah, that's Aspire Media, right? That's the group, and they had another group come in, another studio come in and try to help them, and there's rumors that they would probably take over development. I can't remember who it was. I'm looking through the article now, but there was another studio that was helping them.
Yeah. They also like just laid off pretty much all of their like senior leadership too. Their design director, art director, and a handful of other senior leaders.
Saber Interactive. Saber Interactive was joining the project.
Yeah.
So
I'm not optimistic at all.
No, not in my book, this is a cancellation. You might as well just say we're not doing it. Goodbye.
Yeah. If this resurfaces later on, it will be a very, very different thing. Because they don't even have a game to try and like build off of now if a different studio comes in.
It would be a very welcome surprise if this thing happens.
The other delay postponement news, Forspoken from Square Enix came out and said after discussions with their publishing partner, which is Sony, they are going to be pushing the game to January of 2023. I think you and I have very different takes on this. So you go ahead and take the lead here, and then I will share my conspiracy theory.
Well, the real news, because that was like last week plus that came out, but the real news was that like they actually admitted that the reason was because they didn't want to compete with God of War. Like Sony was like, we don't want you anywhere near it. So I think this is two things. Um,
I think they actually came out and said that. They said the only like thing they said around that is that because as a result of ongoing discussions with key partners.
well, no.
Like,
So the new update for this was that Forspoken won't hit Xbox until 2025 after yet another delay. So we this is Omsoft. I guess it's I don't know.
Microsoft is the
Yeah, I can't see that up there. It's like my light is blinding me.
Yeah.
But the article says we now know what this is meant exactly, which they're referring to as a result of ongoing discussions with key partners. We now know what this means exactly. It means that Sony felt Forspoken's prior October 11th release date may have clashed with God of War Ragnarok's November launch, hence Forspoken's delay until January 2023, despite the game's near completion status. And since Sony has a 2-year limited exclusivity agreement with Square Enix for the game, this means Forspoken will release on Xbox in January 2025 at the earliest. They're claiming they now know that, but
this reads as an editorial piece.
Yeah.
Like, this is them saying, that means that Sony felt this way. We don't have any actual confirmation that that's the case. My conspiracy theory, we were hearing rumors when Sony did that state of play where Final Fantasy 16 gameplay got revealed. We were hearing rumors around there that if Final Fantasy 16 could go this year so that they could push Forspoken, that they would. Because there was a hands-on event earlier this year, and a lot of people came away from that saying that the actual gameplay of Forspoken looked rough. I think this is less Sony saying things need to get out of the way for God of War, which I don't think has really ever been Sony's MO. Asking third-party developers to move their stuff to get out of the way of their first-party offering. And more so that this game needs a couple more months of polish. And they're hoping that by January it'll be in a place where it'll be passable.
I think it's kind of a mix of both. I think what most likely happened was they were ready to have this game come out in October, and gladly took the delay to continue working on polish and refinement, because it was content complete, everything was complete, VO content, everything was complete, but it had not gone gold. Obviously, it's not coming out till it wasn't supposed to come out till October. There's no way Sony didn't know God of War was coming out this November when Forspoken was shown this spring. Like, there's no way they didn't already know that. So, in my opinion, they were probably like, "Hey, you want to move it? We suggest moving it because our projections are showing that, if you're comparing this to a Horizon situation, which keeps getting cannibalized by another big release, this time with Elden Ring, like, they probably have a lesson learned here where they're like, no, God of War is going to eat your lunch. If you want to, we're okay with moving it. We'll extend the contract. We'll have it go from January 2023 through January 2025. And they're like, okay, yeah, I get, what I mean? Like, I don't think it was a hat in hand, hey, we need more time, but it was a, hey, you're going to give us more time? We'll absolutely take it. That's where I fall on it.
Yeah. I just think, it's never been Sony's MO to move third-party stuff out of the way of their own offerings.
I don't think I think their strategy right now is, I think they're treating these guys like second party. I know that it's traditionally a third-party thing, but 2 years of exclusivity is nothing to shake a stick at, and it might as well just be a second party at this point. Especially with Sony bringing everything to PC anyway, eventually.
Sure.
And I also still, in my gut, feel like Square and Sony are going to end up being one. Like, I think Sony's going to end up buying them anyway. I have nothing to go. There's no rumors. we do have some sources that can give us some clarity on it, but like they're not that deep into it. Um, they're not deep into like the business side of things either. So, um, but it just something feels like it just makes sense. If they're going to invest all this money in exclusivity, the Final Fantasy 16 thing is crazy. Um, and Forspoken was just another one of those pegs on the wheel. So, um, I think it looks like it needed 3 more months of polish. I'm not gonna 6 more months, but yeah, I absolutely do not at all feel bad about this. Like, yeah, good. Take your time and come out when it's looking better.
Yeah. You want to know what's not going to look better?
Nope, it's not.
The Meta Quest 2 price tag.
Nope.
Do you see this? Like 2 years after this hardware came out, Meta Group announced that the Quest 2 is getting a $100 price increase. Same hardware, no changes, $100 more.
I honestly have no idea what to say. Like,
it makes no sense.
I mean, it makes sense if their parts are more expensive and they're trying, but it's Meta. It's Facebook. There's no way they needed to make more money on this thing. Like, they're like, you know what I mean? Like, they're definitely whole. I don't know, man. This just comes across as just bad marketing, bad, are people going to care? I don't know. Especially going up against, maybe they got wind of the PSVR 2's price and they're like, we could be more expensive. We could be a premium to that, or I don't know, man.
Or, yeah, I don't know. It just doesn't make sense. It's very weird, and I think this leaves the door open for more like of the Valve headset getting into the marketplace, more of the HTC headset getting into the marketplace. I think they're ceding ground here, which is wild to me.
Yeah, that was like the affordable one, right? Like that was the one that.
Besides the PSVR, yeah, it was like the entry point price tag, basically. Yeah. They increased it on all of their Quest models. So
yeah, it's crazy.
It's wild.
All right.
The final bit of news this week is a new major studio from former Naughty Dog devs are live now. So Bruce Straley, the director of The Last of Us and the Uncharted series, team up with a bunch of industry vets to form Wildflower Interactive. Obviously no game announcements or anything like that, but very, very cool to see Bruce Straley out there making games again.
Yeah, no, absolutely. We need. I'm of the thought that as these companies, as these studios get as big as a Naughty Dog or get as big as a whatever, it's better to split these things up and create more studio, more creativity. And I'm always happy to see something like this. Like when if you're fostering talent like a Naughty Dog is, I expect people to move on and and create their own thing. None of this is bad news. They're hiring. So you could go, like, if you want to get into this stuff, wildflowergames.com, they are hiring. They're looking for people. I'm going to read their release here. Good people making good stuff. It seems so simple and obvious, but that's really what this is all about. Let's enjoy our work and appreciate the people we get to work with, and let's try to advance our industry in the process. Starting something new means we get to change the way things are done, with the games we make, the culture we grow, and the processes we use for both. So, to me, that seems like a very line in the sand, anti-AAA games culture, which I'm totally down for. We're making smallish, creatively charged, uniquely stylized games that explore the possibilities of our medium. And we're building a small, open-hearted team of creators that want to improve their skills and still lead a good life outside of work. People that want to hone their craft, have a say in the process, feel respected for their contributions, and be part of the evolution of this awesome medium. So, yeah, this is basically a backhanded... this is a backslap to AAA studios / that culture.
Yeah.
And I am totally here for it. The only thing that I'm a little slightly disappointed in, is the choice of font at the top. Good people making good stuff. It just looks amateurish.
Yeah. For those of you that are watching live or on YouTube, you will notice that I just got up and walked away for a little bit. My son was screaming. I was terrified that he like threw up, or, you know, one of the many reasons that 5-year-olds scream in the middle of the night. Can you guess why my son was screaming? I'll give you one guess and then I'll tell you.
Okay, one guess. Hold on. Couldn't reach something
to the show. No.
Oh.
He
Okay.
should be in bed. He got put to sleep like an hour ago.
Oh, he wanted to play a game.
He had a bad dream that his base got blown up in Minecraft.
Oh no.
My son is now dreaming.
Oh no, Perjure.
About Minecraft, and he
Taylor,
woke up
no,
sobbing. And I was like, Bennett, you were asleep. That didn't happen.
Oh no.
Yeah. He's dreaming about Minecraft now.
Oh boy. Well, I guess I don't know. Is that success or failure?
It's definitely failure. Definitely.
I don't know, man. He's playing games. At least you have that.
He's way better at Minecraft than I am. All right.
Yeah. Anybody's better at Minecraft than me. So yeah, like what I was saying while you were taking care of baby stuff is just that I love the idea of talent of huge studios fostering talent that can then go and make their own thing, and this cycle continuing.
We've seen this happen a lot over the last couple of years too, of these like big name, like, you know, creative directors that have been out there, have been credited on a bunch of huge games, get sick of the AAA style and go and just make their own thing. We saw the same thing
become
with Jade
AAA.
Raymond and like, you know, a bunch of like former EA devs.
Zampella.
Vince Zampella. Like a bunch of these people over the last couple of years. And for the most part, a lot of these studios haven't released a game yet, right? Like we haven't seen what what's her face? The other Uncharted lady. I always forget.
Well, she's doing Forspoken.
Is she the one on Forspoken?
Isn't she the I think she's the director of that, isn't she?
I can't remember her name, so I don't know.
I could be wrong. My brain.
But like Jade Raymond from Ubisoft and Stadia going off and doing her own thing. Like, we've seen a bunch of these like big name people bounce and not put anything out yet, and so I'm excited to see what they can do without the financial backing of.
Yeah, she's doing Forspoken. She's writing it.
Is she? Okay.
Yeah, cool. She's one of the writers with Gary Whitta.
Cool. I'm excited to see what they can put out, basically, is what I'm saying. Like, over the next couple of years, we'll see these studios kind of like bear their fruit. So
100%.
That'll be cool. All right, let's talk about the topic of the show. Since it's kind of light news week, I wanted to talk to something that is like slightly related to everything we've been talking about today, and that is how big of a traffic jam we have piling up for games in 2023. We've seen a lot of projects get pushed out of this year into 2023. And especially the first half of 2023 is really busy, but the entire year as a whole is crowded. And it's not necessarily that it's all like super high level AAA stuff either.
Yeah.
We're seeing a lot of indie games that got pushed to this year, like, highly anticipated indie games and stuff. There's a lot. I'm just going to run through a quick list of
Please
a couple
do.
that stood out, and then we'll talk about what next year is actually going to look like. The Dead Space remake and Forspoken are both confirmed for January. Resident Evil 4 remake is confirmed for March. So those are the only confirmed dates that we have, but we have a lot of first halves, Q2s, stuff like that in this list. Alan Wake 2, Ark 2, Baldur's Gate 3. You keep moving down this list. Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. Final Fantasy 16. Flintlock, that really cool game that was shown off at the State of Play. Hyenas, Hyper Light Breaker, Kerbal Space Program 2, which I know a lot of people are really excited about. Spider-Man 2 is projected for 2023. Minecraft Legends, Redfall, Star Wars Jedi Survivor, Starfield, Street Fighter 6,
Breath of the Wild 2,
Breath of the Wild 2, Chia,
Stalker 2, Payday 3 is supposed to come out as well.
Yeah.
Wo
Long, that other really cool game they showed off at the State of Play. Like, there's a lot of really cool looking games that are set to come out in 2023. How crowded is the first half of the year going to be, do you think? Like, how many of these do you think actually stick and hit Q1, Q2? And do you think that is like now the time to release games instead of in the fall?
I think 7 Rebirth and 16 from Square are going to be separate. I think one's going to be spring and one will be fall.
Yeah. I think they said summer for 16, right? It was
like something like that. Yeah, like I think they actually said early summer or whatever.
Yeah. Yeah, I remember thinking that's probably going to be like a May game or something like that.
Yeah. I think for the most part, anything that we have been told is coming out Q1 is going to stay in Q1, but I think anything from Q2 and on is up for grabs. Like, I think any of that, it's a complete crapshoot. And I wouldn't be surprised if Baldur's Gate 3 continues to just be in early access, because they just added a class to it and a race, and like they could just do that in perpetuity and add some story. I just think that could live the way it is now, and it's already making a butt ton of money.
They have said that they don't want to sit and milk early access, though.
Yeah, everyone says that.
Sure.
Everyone says that, but if they could convince somebody to give them money for an unfinished product, they will. But yeah, I think Texas Chainsaw Massacre is one that I'm excited about too. But I think I think some of those games that we saw very little of, like Wulong Fallen Dynasty, is on this list. Maybe the Invincible. I'm gonna say it, Starfield. I think Sea of Stars. I think games like that I could see getting pushed further and further. But man, January, February, and March is gonna suck, and I can't believe we're talking about that already. It's crazy.
Yeah, I know it feels a little bit early, but like we're already getting so many delays and pushes into that window.
I know,
and we'll probably see a few more before the year comes to an end.
Yeah.
Like Q1, Q2 seems like the time to release games now. This year we had Elden Ring, we had Horizon, a ton of like huge flagship games got released at the beginning or first half of the year. In 2020 we saw the same thing with like The Last of Us Part 2 and like a lot of big like first party releases from these companies are landing in that like what used to be like the safe zone, right? You would put your game there if you didn't want to compete with the big players in fall. And now it seems like fall, with the exception of like God of War this year, which until that game actually comes out, I'm not convinced is coming out this year. For the most part, it's like sports games and your annual shooters. And that's it, you know?
I remember when this started to change was for me, I started to notice it with Spider-Man. Spider-Man was, I think, it's September, like a really early September game. And I think that was the moment where at least Sony realized, like, oh, people are going to buy our games. It doesn't have to come out on Thanksgiving. Like, these games don't have to come out
need a
in
fall
November.
Game.
Yeah, they could come out summer, they could come out whenever, and then Capcom was like, here's every Resident Evil in March. And we're like, oh, okay. And I remember 7 being the first one that like really blew the doors off. It's like, it's March, we're getting this, or February? I think it was February.
Yeah.
And I think it just proved like this industry is so healthy. It doesn't matter which queue you come out. It doesn't matter what holiday you're near. It doesn't matter. None of that matters. You could launch consoles in March now, or in May. Like the Switch was Switch March? I can't remember.
The Switch was March because it was the same time.
Yeah.
It was the same time as Breath of the Wild.
Right. Like,
it came out early March.
You know, who launches a console in March? And now, like, we've had multiple consoles launch in March, and you know, it's like, I just don't think any of that matters anymore.
Yeah.
And that's great, but also scary.
Over the last like 5 years, been a considerable shift. I feel like the game that really proved it for me was when they launched Monster Hunter World in January.
Yeah, that was cool.
And they were just like, yeah, we're coming out right after all of the holidays. And it was the best-selling game in the entire franchise and, like, did gangbusters, you know?
You know who had the biggest balls of all of them? Was Nintendo doing, I think it was Smash Bros. On December 17th.
Yeah.
They were like,
super
late. Here, it's December 17th. Go to Chris.
And guess what? You're going to fucking buy it for that snot-nosed brat of yours.
Yeah, you are. Yeah, you are. And then we're going to make you pay for DLC forever.
3 years. And we're going to kill Sakurai in the process.
Yeah, poor bastard. But yeah, like once that silo was open, people were like, or these companies were like, oh, we don't have to all come out at the same time. There's 12 months. Wow, I thought there was only 2.5. This is great news, everybody. Wait, you mean we could release a scary game not in October? Oh, cool. That's awesome. But and then Activision's like, what? November?
Yeah.
Like, Activision, go back to sleep. you guys stick to November.
Call of Duties.
Do a Call of Duties in November again. You guys are fine. Yeah.
With them, speaking of Activision, with Activision skipping Call of Duty next year, you know, they've already come out and they said they're breaking the annual cycle. There's not going to be a Call of Duty release in October, November like there normally is. I think 2023 is going to be the result, like the first true result of this shift that's been happening over the last couple of years. Like, that's going to be the first year where we look at it and we're like, oh, this is where the industry's at, you know?
Yeah.
We've been transitioning.
The new, it's going to set the new, the new normal, the new standard, or like,
exactly.
Expect nothing, because expect the unexpected at this point. Because I mean, honestly, it just doesn't matter. These games could come out in July, they could come out in May, it doesn't matter. Look at Horizon. Like, it doesn't matter. This industry is stupid healthy. Like, it's absurd.
I also think, you know, with all of the setbacks and hardships that COVID caused, I feel like production on game projects and stuff like that has reached a healthier place because of COVID. I think it's allowed for companies to be okay with extending out development time a little bit more and putting more time into their projects and stuff like that, because COVID kind of forced their hand. Like, they couldn't go as all hands on deck as they wanted to. So, and you know, this batch of games is kind of the ones that were born right before during COVID. So
Yeah.
it'll be interesting to see if that kind of continues.
Absolutely. I would be really interested to see how it has affected a AAA dev, first party AAA dev more so, because we've interviewed dozens and dozens and dozens of indie devs, and I would say 100% of them, if it's not 100%, that it's 99.9, like it's so close, have said that the pandemic was great for their development. Because there was almost no change because everybody works from home anyway, for the most part. And it opened communication to a lot of the places they normally wouldn't be able to because they don't have to travel. So they were able to do these digital events that they normally couldn't, all over the world, and be a part of them all over the world remotely. And I'd be interested to see how that happens for the larger studios that have those brick and mortar multi-floor studios, because
especially like first party studios and stuff like that.
Because like we know Nintendo got fucked up. Like we know that they had a big issue with their development. But like if I was managing something like that, I would look at it like, okay, well, we could consolidate our floors. Like if you're renting a building, consolidate, go less in-person people, free up budget, hire more people to work remotely, or in some sort of hybrid situation where they're like sharing workstations, but like 2 or 3 days a week. It's, whatever. Like, does that make development easier? Because now you could hire more people because you have more budget because you're not paying overhead for actual rent and all that stuff. So those are questions I would really like to ask. How, just logistically, from dollars and cents, how they manage the team from there. I know my job, like my company, they let go as many people as possible, because from the pure overhead standpoint, because in my industry, it would be as if they stopped being able to sell video games. Like you can't sell video games during the pandemic. Okay, well, what are we doing? Like that's kind of how my industry was. It was like our product can't happen, so all the overhead had to go. But that's not the case in gaming. Like you could, in some case, in almost every indie dev's case, like they were able to hire more people.
It was better.
Yeah, it was a better situation for them. So I'd be curious. I'm gonna try and see if I could get Andy to flex some muscle and get us some. Maybe we could get Obsidian back on the show to talk about it.
Yoshida.
Shu! Are you listening, Shu?
You're not listening. Tell me the exact inner workings of
do me a favor.
PlayStation Studios.
Tell me how much money you spend every day.
Yeah.
On tea.
What's your overhead on tea?
Yeah.
All right. I think that's gonna bring us home. Steve, thank you so much for joining me this week. Twitch chat, thank you so much for joining us this week.
Indeed.
And those listening and viewing from the convenience of a podcast app, YouTube, whatever, thank you for hanging out later, I guess.
Yeah.
Doing the other thing. Make sure you hit the like button.
We love you.
Leave us a review, all that good stuff. Until next time, though, my name is Taylar Allen. You can find me at It's Purger. That has been Steven Fontana. You can find him at Batchild27.
Indeed.
We are Dual Screens at Dual_Screens on Twitter, Dual Screens TV on YouTube, and Patreon.com/Dual Screens, where you can get access to our super exclusive hidden family Discord for all of our best friends.
You can.
Over there. Just like our producers, FNH Paul and Colton, the apprentice Nestler. I think that does it. I'm not going to say we're a scam this week. Steve got really mad at me for saying that. I'm not going to say that we're pay to win either, because that's definitely not the case. Even though
We
people
are
who are in the Discord. I love more than the people who are not in the Discord.
right.
But
It's
not
more
pay to
like you know, like in politics, to say pay to play. You know, like there's
Yeah.
that. It's not quite that either. It's more like
Definitely
pay
is.
for friendship.
Yeah.
It's like the prostitution of friendship.
Yeah. It's like when you were a kid and your mom had to pay your classmates to be your friend.
And to come to the birthday party. Our Discord is our birthday party, and we want you to pay to come to our birthday party.
This analogy is getting worse and worse every week.
Love it.
Oh
I
my
love
god.
it.
Patreon.com/dualscreens. Check it out. Thank you all so much for hanging out, so much for listening. New website, by the way.
Yep.
The same URL, new website. Looks great. Go check that out.
Also, we're
dualscreens.com.
looking for team members. So if you like us and you want to be a part of it, DM us on Twitter at dual underscore screens.
Yep.
Yeah, hit us up. We actually put out a post today looking for writers, and we got like a dozen and a half people interested. Obviously, a lot of them are overqualified because we're a very, very small website right now. But if you're looking to start your career, or you're looking to, if you just are passionate about what Dual Screens does and you want to be a part of it, we do pay our writers. It's not a ton, but we do pay because we do believe in that. So if you want to make a couple bucks, you know, get some game codes and cover some indie games with us, please feel free, send us a message in our DMs on Twitter at dual_screens.
Yeah. If you want to write for us, we'll pay you. If you want to be our friend, you have to pay us.
You pay us. That's correct.
That's the summary.
That's correct. You're paying hundreds of dollars to come see me in just a few short weeks.
I am. Yeah, I'm so excited.
Hundreds.
We might have to like record something, do a little.
Oh, we're gonna do something.
Do a little.
We're gonna monetize your visit for sure.
Oh, sweet. All right, you guys. Until next time, please continue lining our greedy little pockets.
That's terrible. That is terrible. Goodbye.